Watch us live stream at www.twitch.tv/Inez27 Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Follow us on Twitter at SeemsGoodMagic, and support my eBay store by going to SeemsGoodMagic.com, clicking on the link, and purchasing some playsets or singles. Thanks, and enjoy the video. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here for another 8-4 Return to Ravnica Block draft. I just wanted to clarify, whenever I post a video that's got the huge webcam on the side of it, that just means that it's from our podcast. So whenever you see a draft video like that, it doesn't mean every draft video is going to have the video on the side. Specifically, the ones from our podcast will, because we have video for our entire podcast. So you're going to have to tolerate the videos that have the big video on it. On the side, the big webcam on the side, I mean. Okay, so on to the pick. The rare is Turd. It's Maratandris. Expensive, overpriced, not very powerful. So not picking her. The picks I like here, Beetleform Mage is very good. I'm a big fan of that card. Sunspire Gatekeepers keeps me more open. Beetleform Mage is definitely stronger. I'm going to take the Gatekeeper because it leaves me more open. It's really important to stay open in this format. I really can't stress that enough. This is a format where you need to make sure that you're getting into the right colors. So staying as open as possible early on really helps you to find where you want to be. Okay, so the strongest card in here, probably a toss-up between Blaze Commando, who's cool, Tide Drinker, Beetleform Mage, has the Snare Squad. I like the Tide Drinker is pretty insane. It's an excellent extort engine. Still works with the Gatekeepers. I think I want that. I could stay completely open and take the Snare Squad, which is actually a pretty good card. And the Blaze Commando's fine too, if you end up with any sort of burn. But I think I like the Tide Drinker because it's a cheap extorter. It's one of the better extort cards in the full format, I would think, just for how cheap it is and what it can potentially do. So I'll go with Tide Drinker on that one. Okay, strongest card in this pack. We have Scab Clan Giant, which is good. Everybody knows how much I like that card. We also have Rubble Belt Maka, Boros Mastiff, Vyashno First Blade, all of which are acceptable. Azorius Guildgate works with the Gatekeepers. I don't think I want to take that, though. I can take the Scab Clan Giant and possibly miss out on the Tide Drinker. Just continue to take the best card. I'm not like heartbroken if I miss out on a Boros Mastiff. I don't think this card in the grand scheme of the full block is that good. It's just like if you're short on 2 drops, it's fine. But I don't know if that's the card I want here. I think I'd rather take something more powerful. So I really want the Scab Clan Giant or First Blade or Maka. I'm going to go Giant. Can't help myself. It's just far and away the best card in that pack. I don't care what anybody thinks. Alright, here I think we're probably just taking the Sin Collector. Obsidat's Aid is pretty interesting. Nothing else super good in here. Fatal Fumes is removal. Golgari Guildgate is in fact a Guildgate. We're going to take the Sin Collector. This is a good card. 2-1 beater. Take away one of the good spells your opponent may or may not have. You get a free peek. It's pretty cool. Can do a vampire theme deck maybe. Alright, wow, got another Tide Drinker. That makes me happy. Also a Maze Abomination in here, which I would have been happy to take. And Steeple Rock, I'm not that impressed with this card, but it's certainly playable. And Cross de Gorgon is very good too. But let us take this Tide Drinker and pretty happily take it. Alright, sweet. So we get a, 6th pick Maw of the Obsidat. That is a good sign that Orzhov is open. I feel like Hired Torture is actually pretty good on Orzhov too. You've got an extort engine, then you've got a blocker, so you don't even have to attack in on them. You can just extort and then, make them lose life with this. It's pretty cool. But Maw of the Obsidats, this would be an excellent opportunity to try this card out because I haven't gotten a chance to try it yet. And all I hear is rave reviews about it, so I am in fact curious. All right, definitely taking the Guildgate here over the Fatal Fumes is removal, but I'd rather have the Guildgate, turn on this Gatekeeper, help our mana base a little bit, possibly open us up to a third color. I could also take the Kraz de Gorgon, and that would make me what, Orzhov Golgari? Seems fine. I don't feel like in Orzhov Golgari there's a ton of ways to get the counters, but you do get the scavenge. So in Return to Ravnica, if I were to go that route, I could pick up some way to scavenge onto my creatures. It might be worth taking, but let's take the Guildgate just for now. I do like that Kraz de Gorgon quite a bit, but if we can turn these guys on, that would make me kind of happy. So let's take a second Gatekeeper here. What is on color? The Maze Sentinel. I don't really like this card all that much, but we do have tons of multicolored creatures right now, so let's take it. Just sort of cut white. Here, not much stuff that we can use. We can take the Blackguard in case we're short on 2-drops, but hopefully I don't have to play that card. Here we can take... I really don't even want to play one Maze Sentinel. I don't like that. It's my least favorite Sentinel. Let's take the Maze Glider. This card's actually decent. I guess Trait Doctoring is so worthless. It's kind of funny that they made that card. They really didn't do it right. Alright, Fatal Fumes is here. We'll definitely take it now over the Wake. And we can take the Cluestone here. Possibly set us up for a Golgari if we need it. But we did kind of pass the signal, passing the multiple Gorgons. Could see us possibly sideboarding into that. Last pick Mending Touch is pretty interesting. So this will be our Orzhov pack out of Gatecrash here. So really hoping to pick up some good Extort cards to capitalize on out of this pack. Alright, pretty cool pack. We can take a Blind Obedience, which is in fact another Extort card. There's also Undercity Informer, which is very good, and Death Cult Rogue, which works very well alongside Extort as well. But I'm kind of feeling picking up as much Extort as we can. It's very powerful. Shadow Slice is amazingly strong, but we're more likely to table the Shadow Slice. And Blind Obedience I could see being very good. Just as like a little Extort trigger. I'd like to get as much Extort as I can out of this pack. So let's take the Blind Obedience. It's a pretty cheap way to turn on Extort. Right, Kingpin's Pet looks like a phenomenal pick for us here. There's also Dutiful Thrall, which is an excellent card in this strategy. Hold off your opponent while you just extort them down, but we're more likely to table the Dutiful Thrall. I don't think there's any way we're tabling a Kingpin's Pet, so pretty happily slamming that. I would like to pick up a Cypher card to go along with this Extort if possible, but for now, let's just slam all this Extort while we can. Lord of the Void, wow, that's a pretty strong card. It's a 7-drop. 7 drops you are more likely to be able to play in this format, but I don't think that's what I want. I actually like White of Precinct 6 quite a bit. However, it definitely works better if you either A, have a lot of removal, which we don't, or B, have a lot of mill, which we don't. So White does not look like it's going to be exactly what this card wants to do. Syndicate Enforcer is, in fact, another Extort engine. However, not really feeling that. I am kind of feeling this Death Cult Rogue. I like it quite a bit. Like I said, very, very good alongside Extort. When you're just getting in and extorting them down with your spells at the same time. Lord of the Void is an excellent finisher, a very strong card. It is 7 mana, however, and it doesn't really look like that's what this deck is trying to do. So let's take the Death Cult Rogue. Okay, so now we have another Death Cult Rogue. There's also a Gruul Guildgate, but don't need either of those colors. Pretty sure we're not making the Scab Clan Giant work. Possibly making the Maze Glider work as our third color. But we have not gone into a third color yet. We can still do green, blue, either of those. Let us pretty happily slam a second Death Cult Rogue and move on. Alright. Agoraphobia, kind of awkward on the splash. It's a late pit fight. Pretty happily, I think, taking the Dutiful Thrall here. Just get a good blocker. Helps us extort. I'm happy with that. Okay, here, anything on color. Horror of the Dim, not very good. Guildscorn Ward, not super relevant. Drakewing Krasis, pretty late one. I may have to hate a card here. It seems like Madcap Skills would be pretty good against us too. Interesting. Yeah, I would really like to get one of those, a Shadow Slice for these Death Cult Rogues and Extort. That would make this deck a lot more powerful. Not exactly sure what I'm taking here. I may have to take the Horror of the Dim just to get another creature, cut our colors, let people go into green and blue. I think we have to signal. We have to give up good cards to signal that we're in these colors. Alright, it looks like we can make the blue possibly work. And actually, Maze Glider I would like to be able to play. So let's take the Aetherize here. Which is, I mean, we could also take the Cypher spell, which does work well with the Death Cult Rogue. You know, I'm not completely opposed to that. We can still extort off of it, but we're short on removal, which is why I want to take this Aetherize. It's just more powerful than Last Thoughts. Not necessarily for this deck, but just in general. Gridlock I could see being good for this deck, letting us get in with the rest of our creatures, but the Gargoyle's okay, just to get another creature. I guess I'd rather have Gridlock. I can see that flipping the game state a little bit more. Hold the Gates would be good if we had more than one gate. It is cool, though, that you get the Vigilance. Maybe we just take the Beckon. Can extort off of it. It randomly stops people from being able to scavenge, if you time it right. Second Dutiful Thrall is excellent. Really happy to get that. Could take the Armored Transport. We don't look like too much of an attacker deck besides the evasive creatures. The Mental Vapors is just a Cypher spell I don't really like all that much. I don't think it's super playable, even with Extort or the Death Cult Rogue. I think it just is a little too little. It's probably one of my least favorite ones. Let's take the Armored Transport. Realm Right for mana fixing, but that's awkward on the splash. But I'm not playing a second Beckon, so let's just take it. There's a chance if we go deeper blue in the next pack for some reason. Like, we are getting Azorius cards out of the next pack. How many Extort Engines did I end up getting? Just 3? Is that it? I was kind of hoping for more than that. 4. Okay. Well, I mean, we got some good ones, but I didn't pick anything there. Doesn't really matter. I wasn't passing anything. Okay. So next pack, we want to get some more evasion. I'm thinking... But, I mean, we're not necessarily sold on blue yet. Let's just look at the best picks we have here. Alternatively, we could take red as our third color. Like I said, the blue that we have, we're not that deep in blue. Alright, we can take the Xanakev Locust here. It's a flyer. We can also take Street Spasm in red, possibly start dipping in that. But maybe we do want to sort of stick with the blue splash for now, in which case we just take the Locust that scavenges. I feel like it's a good scavenge on the Tide Drinker. Can also just take the cheap Beater that also randomly deals with good auras and other enchantments. Xanakev Locust is a little bit expensive. Keening Apparition would keep our curve down. But I don't think we got quite enough Extort to really capitalize. So maybe we want a little bit more of an in-game plan. In which case the Xanakev Locust is very good. Okay. Let's take the Locust. Next pick. We have the Pegasus, not so good. Vassal Soul looks like it could easily be the pick here. Pretty awkward alongside the Death Cult Rogues. Unless we ended up straight 2-color, which is possible. But even in 2-color, double black, double white on turn 3 can be pretty awkward. Regardless, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to turn on the Gatekeepers right now, which is also a little bit disappointing. Let's just take the Vassal Soul. Lotleth Troll is very good. So is Lee of Sky Knight. That's a good reason to go into blue. But once again, we just have no fixing for blue. We might have to make it work regardless. We're not super deep into blue. And Lee of Sky Knight is an excellent, excellent card. Swift Justice is very good too, alongside the Tide Drinker. I could see that. Well, it's already got lifelink, so it's a little bit redundant, but still good. We could also take the Sunspire Griffin, get another 3-drop flyer with an awkward color scheme. Could just be a Flyers deck, maybe. I do kind of want this Lee of Sky Knight, but we're at 25 playables right here. What's my first cut? Probably this. Prefer to not play the Sentinel. I'd really like to get some fixing in this deck. That would be nice. I'm going to take the Griffin to see if I can get out of blue, just because our fixing is so dreadful. Alright, pretty happily slamming a Thrill Kill Assassin here. There's also Perilous Shadow and Sunspire Griffin, both of which are good, but Thrill Kill is just an amazing card. Okay, Dead Reveler. Could also take the Promenade. But we probably, let's see if we can just get out of blue. I'm pretty sure we can. Might have to play a couple lackluster cards like Gatekeepers that we can't turn on, but we might even be able to get out of them potentially. Did we end up with like no removal? Is that right? Probably not playing this. Wow. Almost no removal. I'm going to take the Dead Reveler. Roustabout. I'll take it. It's a good blocker again. Can also take a Swift Justice as a trick. I guess we do have 19 creatures. But sitting behind... I guess we already have a couple regenerators. Let's take the trick. That could be a lot more relevant. And the life gain could as well. Here... Nothing super good for us. Not really interested in playing this. Caracol. Stealer is probably the most annoying here. Runewing's reasonably annoying against us too. Yeah, maybe the Runewing's more annoying. We want to fly over. Alright, take a Perilous Shadow here and we're going to play it. Because we are straight up 2-color, or are trying to be. Ethereal Armor. How many enchantments do we have? We have Blind Obedience. Is that it? Yes, it would appear to be. I think we'll take it anyway. It's on color. It's more likely we'll play that than the Mind Rot. Armory Guard, another 4-drop creature. I'd probably rather play it than the Gatekeeper, since we can't even turn the Gatekeeper on. Sundering Growth for sideboard seems fine. None of these cards matter. Alright. Interesting deck. I think we have a strategy where we've got enough in-game where we can make this work. But I'm a little bit disappointed. We didn't get anything a little more bomby. I'm also disappointed we only ended up with 1 Guildgate. I'm pretty surprised about that. I don't think we want to play as Blackguard. I don't think we want to play this. So what, we got to cut 2 more cards? What do we want to cut? Maybe the Beckon seems unnecessary. And possibly the Ethereal Armor seems unnecessary since we only have 2 enchantments. I don't mind the Armory Guard so much because we have Extort. Yeah, we're not playing Gobbling Ooze. So, cut 1 more card. Am I really playing a Maze Sentinel? I think I am. I don't think I can make Ethereal Armor work in here. Maybe if I main deck Guildscorn Ward or something, but not likely. Let's see. So this is 21. 22. Maybe we play the 3/4. He's not good. We don't really need another creature, but then again, we don't really have any tricks either. We could just put in another cheap flyer that you can extort off of that gets rid of scavenge. It's really not that bad. Beckon's okay. It's not very good. It's pretty decent with Maw. And like I said, it's decent when you can get rid of a flyer. It's decent when you have extort. It's cheap to extort off of. How many flyers do we currently have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not many. We're just playing this as a 4-mana 2/4. That's pretty unexciting. Would I rather pay the extra mana to get another power? I'm not even sure. Maybe we do the Beckon. Give it a try. This easily looks like a 16 land deck, even with the extort. We're so cheap. What are our mana sinks? Extort and 1 mana for regen. I guess we do have this. And we can scavenge this. And we need double white and double black on turn 3, which also sucks. Yeah, I guess we have to do 17 lands. This looks like a deck that could pretty easily flood out. Didn't get a single relevant Cypher spell. It would have been nice to table that Shadow Slice for the Death Cult Rogues and the Flyers and the Extort. No such luck. Spec and Apparition just look terrible in here because it doesn't do anything. My best splash card is what? Like maybe a Maze Glider. Turn on Tide Drinkers, Sin Collector, and Maw. Death Cult Rogues. It's not really that relevant. Aetherized Splash seems awkward, as does Gridlock. Interesting. Alright, I guess we're playing Beckon because it's a flying creature. Weird deck. Strange deck. But I really would have liked to have picked up maybe 3 more. It would have been nice to get lucky enough to get 3 extort creatures more out of the Gatecrash pack. We first picked an extort card, second picked an extort card, and then it just completely dried up after that. But what can you do? Alright, I guess we're probably just doing an even split on lands too, probably. No, don't need the blue so much. Okay, so I think we're going to run it like this. Like I said, not the greatest deck I've ever played in my life, especially when you factor that we have almost 0 removal. This is probably the least amount of removal I've ever played in my entire life. I can't remember a deck where I had less removal than this. The last time I played less removal, it's not coming to me readily. So not exactly sure what the plan is as far as how we can win. I mean, we have some creatures that can get in there, a few evasive, we've got some extort, but when your removal is literally a Fatal Fumes and Swift Justice and you're in black and white, that does not bode well. So I'm a little bit worried about that. That's the main concern of the deck, the complete lack of removal. But not anything I can do about it, so we're going to run it like this, and I'll see you around 1.